Hiya folks, I'm thinking of making some more videos about politics, if for no other reason than I'll stop telling myself how I need to speak up on some issue or another. Even though labels tend to change their meaning over time, and to an extent maybe they already have, I'm happy to call myself a true British liberal who wants some kind of social safety net for the people that truly need it in society. I believe in freedom of speech, individualism, individual property rights, and the state's responsibility to protect our freedoms. So, unsurprisingly, I find the whole intersectional progressive shtick the far left continues to push, with some success, to be pretty disturbing. I've only waited until now because New Zealand is far from the rest of the world, and I suppose I felt a little disconnected even as I watched in horror, first at what was happening in academia in the United States, then the entertainment industry, then the refugee crisis happened in Europe, and I was watching Europe and the UK, and particularly the UK, where things started to go downhill very quickly. And you can probably tell I've scripted this video, and those are just a few examples that I've written down, but I think we all know there are far more examples I can think of just off the top of my head, like the Black Lives Matter movement. We've got the economic migrants from Mexico and south of Mexico coming into the US, and we've got Hillary Clinton. I'm with her. Oh my god, that was a crack up. We've got what was happening in Canada with Bill C-16 and Jordan Peterson, and then what happened since then, as Jordan Peterson predicted, but I think he said that it was even worse than he predicted, what happened with Lindsay Shepherd at Wilfrid Laurier University. And yeah, no, the examples go on and on and on. And in the UK is like a whole nother, that's just a whole nother thing. The situation with Count Dankula and Brexit and oh my gosh, I haven't written down examples, but I have been paying attention. A lot of shit's been happening. I might just delete that because it's quite rambly and I'm trying to be concise, but anyway. So in the meantime of all of that happening, I've been a New Zealand university student for quite a long time. I have had a lecturer boldly proclaim to the class of at least 60 brand new students that by the end of the semester, we would all be Marxists. And I'm sure most of them were by the end of the semester. He had quite a lot of charisma, that guy. He was a pretty good lecturer, aside from the whole Marxist thing. Anyway, I changed universities for unrelated reasons where I had more anti-capitalist lecturers, though they were in the minority. They were mostly happy to have a debate and present things fairly, although we were occasionally assigned readings that proclaimed things like, biological sex is a social construct. I'm not kidding, that really happened. Then for a couple of months, we had anti-equality and pro-equity propaganda put in the university library. You couldn't miss it because it was on either side. They were giant, not billboards, they kind of were billboards, cardboard, what do you call them? Fuck. There were massive billboards flanking either side of the entry to the library, so you had to walk past them. And I'll put in a picture. Oh, maybe I won't because it'll be copyrighted. I'll link to a picture just here of the kind of propaganda I'm talking about. You'll probably have seen it before. Pretty classic. So that was kind of disturbing. Anyway, now I'm doing a philosophy paper and a cultural studies paper where the cultural studies lecturer stands at the front of the class saying, this policy is bad because blah, 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 and this policy is good because blah, 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 fucking blah. No surprises there. And then immediately after that, I'll go to this philosophy paper where the lecturer will split us off into groups, assign us all a point of view and be like, have at it, you lot. Figure it out. It's heavenly. I love it. Why, oh God, why did I not take philosophy as my minor? I will never know. So I've been at uni a long time on account of my studying only part-time for a fair chunk of it. But I have a friend who has also been there a long time, not as a student, but as a tradie working on some of the new buildings. And we all know how the bourgeois lefty students loathe the working class that they pretend to represent. They aren't allowed to talk to any female students, not even if they know them or they're a relative. Like, one guy got, I don't know if he got kicked out or what, but he got in a bit of shit for talking to his sister at uni. That's really interesting. And they aren't allowed to look at the female students for more than a few seconds at a time. Apparently one of the feminist lecturers felt it necessary to make this some kind of precedent for the tradies on campus. Oh, also they aren't allowed to eat at the uni cafes that, let's be honest, they probably built. Wonderful. So that's uni. The other thing is, I do read the news quite regularly, and New Zealand news media is just as flawed, if not more so, than it is overseas. It's rambly, but I talked about this in my first video in more detail. I have many things to say about what's been happening in academia and the public discourse. My hope is that the more we talk about these things, the more we call them out, then perhaps the media and government will have to stop marginalising liberal voices and actually listen to us again. I accept that this is particularly challenging in a country like New Zealand, which is politically bicultural. So Western ideology is largely liberal and Māori ideology is more collectivist. And it's always been a struggle we've had as a nation since the signing of the Treaty of Waitangi. But that's for another video. What will I be like as a content creator? Well, unlike Sargon of Akkad, the auntie with the most similar politics to me, I'm not well read. It's something I'd like to change, but I'm a bit impatient with books and I find it hard to finish once I've started. It's something I've been working on, but I find it insanely difficult. I do read news articles though, and I try to keep my ear to the ground in that regard. My background instead is less grounded in a strong understanding of moral and political philosophies. I know it's important, but perhaps a little less fundamental. I've mostly got a BA in Media and Communication. I just have to do 2 more papers and then I'm done. So I've studied news media in conflict situations such as Vietnam, Iraq, Kosovo, and I've studied Disney, I've studied New Zealand news media, and a bit on PR, advertising, social media, journalistic writing, and politics. Before then, I've always been interested in current affairs and geopolitics, and I'm a bit of an armchair philosopher, ready to make an argument about something I don't fully understand. So basically, I know a little about a lot. There is a lot I don't know, and it is very important to me that I clearly distinguish what I know and don't to my audience, so that I don't misinform anyone, and so people can decide how much weight what I have to say really holds. So I will post my sources in the description of any video. If I make a mistake or you have any disagreement or criticism of something I've said, please tell me so that I can address it. My channel's still very small and probably always will be, so please don't be shy about getting in touch with me regarding the content of my videos. I love talking about this kind of stuff, which cuts to the heart of why I made this channel. It's actually my fear of drawing too much attention that scares me the most about putting my thoughts out there, but it's my passion for talking about this stuff that broke me in the end. If I feel it's necessary, I may set up PayPal or a Patreon, but we're a long ways off that at the moment. Don't think there's much there to really wouldn't deserve it at this point. In the meantime, verbal support is more than enough, and you can follow me on BitChute and or YouTube for more average but lovingly made content. Thanks for listening to me ramble, you guys. Let's talk again soon.